Hi guys, just taking apart this DWI or Dowellin DWI D7. I've actually nearly taken it all apart and then thought I ought to start filming it. It's got an awful lot of screws in it. If we just take this case here, which I haven't undone, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws in it. I've already taken them out of that side, so I should have there's still 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 plus the 2 I haven't taken out yet. That still won't let me take the 2 halves of this apart to change the propellers if I wanted to. So that seems a bit awkward. So I've now undone the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that are holding the body together. So I'm just lifting that out so we can have a look at it. Keeping my fingers on there at the moment. Oh, that's the little camera come loose. Okay. The motors are actually pointed that way. Normally they're sort of vertical, but they're actually horizontal, and then there's a crown gear that diverts the motion to horizontal or vertical, whichever way we're talking. Right, we'll just have a little look at this, see if there's anything glaringly obvious that's burning or overheating. There's no obvious scorch marks anywhere. The screws are dropping out now. I'm taking it right apart so we can check there's no... Which side did I start taking apart? This side. There's no hairs or anything caught around the gears. I did look last time, but we're having another look now. And there's another set of screws at the back there. They've just made this so difficult to take apart. And they supply you with a couple of spare propellers, but they don't mention anywhere in the handbook how to get them out. And this just seems so much work. And now we can see the motors. As I say, they're flat or horizontal. I think what I must have done, I did look inside before, I must have actually poked the screwdriver through the gaps and undone these so we can actually look at them. So we'll do one of them. Looks to me like they're all the same size. No, they're not. They're not all the same size screws. I was just going to say they all look like they're all the same size, but they're not. Those ones aren't. These are the same size as those. So if I pull that, okay, Now we can see the motor and gearbox. Well, motor and gearbox. I mean, that's what it is. It's a pinion gear on there and a crank gear on here. Got a bit of dust in there, but there's nothing dramatic in there stopping it spinning round. Several people suggested they might be bunged up with hair. As I say, I did look previously, but I must have done it, as I say, poking down through the gaps rather than taking it right apart like this. So you can see LED there. I think that's a bit naughty, not actually telling you how you're going to get these apart if you wanted to replace that propeller. Usually you've got a little lever thing that you can squeeze in. Oh, that's not working, that's just popping that bearing off the back. That's all a little bit weak. I don't like that at all. That's a tiny bit of fluff there, but nothing significant. That one's got a little hole in it. I wonder how that happened. Somewhere in one of my packs I've got a little hook thing there. I'll go and have a little look. Yeah, this thing came with the cricket. Don't know if we can get that to go in there and oh, yeah, that's done it. That's got it apart. A bit. Still think I'm going to need that to get it the rest of the way. Yeah. Okay, well, that's one propeller off. We've got a little bit of hair in there. It's probably out of focus, but there's a little bit. Remember, this is the one that lasts for about 30 seconds and then it's used up all the battery. I'll put that back on there before I try and lever it apart. Just to hold it still while I'm levering it. Let's get those wires in, out of the way of the screw. Yeah, we'll put that back together. You don't need to watch this, do you? That's just time wasting. I'll turn the camera off again. Well, we've got the cover off. We'll have a close-up of this circuit board, or at least what we can see of it. Obviously this bit here is the camera sender, for want of a better word. Not much else we can see from this side. I doubt whether there'll be much we can really see on the other side. When I was feeling it and I was saying it was getting hot, I bet it was that there. That's near the surface, so I'll be able to feel it from the outside. But there is nothing obvious. So flip this back over this way. to lose any of the screws or the little bits. Those little bits stick up under there. Take this side apart as well so we can clean out those propellers. I just can't believe they've made it that difficult to change the propellers. Got a hair there. That might be slowing that one down a little bit. This can't be the right way to replace the propellers. Oh, I'm talking to you and it's all zoomed in again, aren't I? Sorry about that. Right, I'll just repeat what I was saying. This can't be the right way to replace the propellers. This just seems far too complicated. Got to take all the screws out. Really? With that camera, you might not get quite so much shadow. Camera. Move that light. Still zoomed in too far, aren't I? I really can't see what I'm doing. But hey, I'm just undoing lots of screws. Lots of screws. A ridiculous number of screws. Slide that one over that side. Looking where the screws are going to fall out of. Right, so what I'm going to do is get these propeller blades off and check for hair behind them. Come on. There we go. A little bit of hair in there. Again, I don't think there's enough in there to cause the problems that we've got. Right, I'll do the other one as well. Just before I put the other side back together, I'll just point out these little plastic bits. They're the bits that go on top of those springs, but you have to put them into that hole first before you put them on the springs. Otherwise they just fall off when you're trying to align them. So that's those little bits of plastic I'm talking about. So you pop them back in there. Make sure all your bits of wire are out of the way. And this has got to go on top with those springs into those holes. Making sure you haven't got any of the wires caught. And these around the edge actually clip in place, which should hold it while you turn it back the other way to get the screws in place. Only it's not doing it. You can see I've got one of the screws that's got caught on the magnet of the motor. Alright, I'll get that out of the way. Right, I've flipped it back over the other way. Make sure those wires are clear. Okay. Now we've got all the other screws to put in. Just in case you're wondering, that is a magnet I've got on the side of the screwdriver there just to hold the screws in place while I put them in place. Right, I need two more for there. Oh, there they are. These are all the small ones. Right, so now I need to put all that back in, line it up, get the little camera back in place. Oh, it is in place, that's alright. Right, so these bits have got to go back in there. So back together. So how many screws are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4 screws missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that looks okay. There's some that are still in place. Okay, so we're back together, but will that make any difference to whether it flies or not? Because I don't think that tiny little bit of hair would have been enough to make it die after a few seconds. It'd be nice if I'm wrong. It'd be very nice if I'm wrong, and if that suddenly cured it. Checking the propellers aren't actually touching the cage anywhere. Right, well, we'll go and see if that's made any difference at all. At least we've had a look inside. And as I say, I couldn't see anything obvious, nothing that was melted or burn marks. So I'll put a battery in it and try it out. Thanks for watching. If you like that, then you might like this. And if you like this and that, you might like to subscribe over there.